Hi there, and welcome to Green Shoe Conversations. I'm Stephanie Cochran, the Executive Director for the Green Shoe Foundation, and this is episode 40. I can't believe it. This is awesome. So I have my amazing team with me today. Miss Teresa Deck, our Clinical Director. I feel like I need like the applause machine that they have on radio shows. I need to get some sound effects. And Mr. Stephen Brinkworth, one of our therapists. I can do drum rolls. That's about it. How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good. So we've kind of been having conversations the last couple of months on authenticity. That in a way has kind of become our theme, maybe our word for the year. It's something I know that we all personally, strive for and look to, but it's also something that is so deep in our model, and that we work with our participants on finding their true authenticity. We talk a lot about authentic self. But what's also been exciting this year is we started that parenting class, and we talked about that a couple weeks back. So again, if you want to go back and listen to that, then you can kind of just get some general information. But it's been really neat in working with people through that parenting lens and the model. And through that, it's kind of led us into some really interesting conversations. And one that kind of came up the other day was how to be authentic to ourselves in our parenting roles. And so I know we're kind of sitting around and the first thing that kind of came up is, what are parenting roles? There's so many different. I know I'm a mom, and Teresa, you're a mom and a Gigi, and Steve, you're a stepdad. And, we have stepmoms, and we have, grandparents who are just grandparents, and we have grandparents who actually parent. So many different type of parenting roles. And then the question is, how do I stay authentic, not just in my parenting role, but to myself?
What I hear you saying is, how do we take care of ourselves, and how do we be ourselves in those different roles? Because they are different, but yet it's all focused on helping a child mature into a healthy adult.
Yeah. And it's all still me. I mean, I have other roles too. I have, my employee hat, I have my supervisor hat, I have my wife hat, I have, all these different hats that I wear, or these roles, but it's all still me.
Yeah.
And you're right, Teresa, I'm still, how do I help my children grow and mature into healthy, functional adults? Yet still maintain me being a functional adult at the same time. And there was a lilt in my voice. Like, is that a question? Do I? Yeah. How do
Parenting, I will say, is the toughest job in the world. Besides a child growing up, that's tough too. Pia talks about that's a hard role is for a child to mature. And you talked about me being a Gigi, and I have to put my plug in there. I'm a new Gigi. Last Friday, I have a new granddaughter, and watching that little 7-pound, just bundle of blessing, and then I look at my 3-year-old and my 6-year-old, and I thought, how quickly, and how much change, and how much they learn. And we have to be there to support them during those tough times, because it's tough learning how to get your needs and wants met, and to learn how to express them appropriately. So it's hard work.
It is hard. Like you said, on everybody. We'll kind of roll back though, because, Steve and Teresa, how do we learn how to be parents then? Because, it is a tough job to be a parent. And even like you said, it's such a tough job being a kid and growing up. So how do we learn how to be parents?
And I was going to throw that back at Steve, because Steve, you weren't a parent from birth. And so how has that been different for you? And how have you learned to do that parenting role in your authentic self?
Yeah. So thinking about my own experience, my parents divorced when I was 5. And so I saw parenting happen in an effort to help me, but independently of each other. I didn't see a lot of the communications that they had to have as adults. And so that wasn't something that I got to witness. And so I learned that a lot of it was done independently. And so that's an interesting piece, in my marriage as a stepfather, learning how that happens to work as a team under the same roof to really see what that looks like. Growing up, I saw different styles from my mom and a different style from my dad, and a style from my stepmom. But then I also spent a lot of time with my mom's parents. I spent a lot of time with my friends and their families, and so to see several different styles. But what was really familiar to me was that piece that it's independent, that it's not something that is collaborative in the way that oftentimes a household that has both parents in it, you see that collaboration, whether it's with conflict, whether it's with a smooth and easy collaboration, but that there's two parties. So that's something that I recognize has been an influence for me. And as we've done this parenting class and talking about how to parent through the lens of post-induction therapy, that I also have to recognize, we talked about this the other day, in parenting, that I need to parent the child that's in front of me, parent the way that I feel that I need it. And so that's something that as a stepdad, I see different components of that aging process happen for my stepson, and need to be aware of what's coming up for me. And so I'm aware of what ego state I'm in. Am I in my functional adult state, and being able to be present for him in a way that is healthy, is balanced, is meaningful, is loving? Am I in that wounded state or adapted state where I may feel that certain things need to happen out of my own stuff, as opposed to what's going on for him at a developmental age? And so that's something that I think is really important to be aware of, so that as I'm engaging, I can be there fully present as a functional adult to provide in the best way possible stepdad role.
So what I think I heard you say was we parent out of our past, what we learned, what we saw, and also we can operate out of our woundedness or operate out of our healthiness. And we have to, as parents, be aware of our stuff and who we are being, and also have our eyes focused on that child. I love what you said, that child in front of you.
Yeah. And thinking about those different hats, just like you mentioned, it can get to be a juggling act with all the hats that we wear. And so really important to be aware of not just what hat am I wearing, but how wearing those different hats impacts where my focus is. And am I taking care of myself in a healthy way? So am I also teaching by demonstration what it looks like to engage in self-care?
Sure. And I know for me, you talk about that juggling act. The first thing I drop in order to take care of everything else is myself.
Yeah.
It's so easy to drop that self-care or the me hat, so that way I can keep doing the mom and the wife and the everything else hat. So yeah.
It is a juggling act. And I was just talking with you before we got on here about how I'd been helping with my daughter and the new baby, and you do get put last, because that little precious child is the thing that needs your attention right now. And so, and then that makes it difficult, because you get to a point that you've been not doing healthy self-care, good self-care. And so then it kind of comes up and gets you.
Right. And you're right, especially, those babies, they have to come first. We have to make sure, because they can't take care of their own needs and wants. I do think it's been fascinating having these conversations in the classes with the parents. And I think the biggest aha moments that they're having is connecting oh, so how I was raised is affecting how I'm parenting, and then, like you said, Steve, then recognizing I have to parent the child in front of me. And if I have, more than one kiddo, recognizing that
Yeah.
they're different and
And
how
we talk about in that parenting class, talk about those developmental stages that they're going to be at different places. And that's a natural progression as we age.
Right. And how, and how we learn and how we connect and, with everybody in there. And I'm not going to remember which section we talk about the 5 core issues. And then after we talk about it, we call them application questions, but I really like how you guys have shifted some of the language to challenge questions. And one of the challenge questions is, do your kids see you taking self-care? And I love that because I was like, oh, now I can say, yes, they do. But that's because I've been, what I've learned from Green Shoe. But man, I wish I knew some of that when my kids were little, And
Absolutely.
Teresa, you and I were talking about that yesterday. It's like, boy,
Yes.
I did, and let's be clear, I thought I knew a lot anyway then, but just knowing what I know now to go back, but I'm able to reparent myself, and I can even reparent my kids no matter what age. And that's kind of been a gift, is I don't have to say, whoops, I missed it. Sorry, they've grown up. I still can talk to my 21-year-old, and have some of those conversations and reparent or redo, some of that, even repair.
I just heard this morning on the way to work, was listening to a presentation and talked about children are like wet cement. And I loved that we can put our handprint on them, and they get to a point too. We really got to do it, start out really at a young age and do it in a healthy way. And so, but we can go back. I love how you said that, and repair what we didn't get correct the first time. So yeah, thank goodness we get do-overs. So
right. And that's very healing, hearing that you will have rupture. We will make mistakes.
We're not perfect.
No, not at all. And again, sometimes that's how we learn, through our mistakes. We have to remember that that's the gift of that, but we get to go back, and repair, with that. But going down into it, how do we, again, make sure we're being authentic? And we're not saying that you're not authentic as a mom, because one of the best pieces, and Steve, you talked about this yesterday, was being able to spend time with your child as taking your child on things that you're interested in, or being your authentic self around them. That's a great way of self-care, because you get to be who you are and they get to experience that.
Yeah. There gets to be some great dialogue, a great conversation too, about what that looks like, and where some of those pieces that we really enjoy, sometimes that means we do them together. Sometimes some of those things we enjoy, we do by ourselves too, because it helps to recharge our batteries. It gives us energy to continue with those taxing pieces of life, those stressful pieces, whether that's a standardized test at school, or if that's something coming up with housing on our home, or if that's something, in any area of our life, and engaging in that self-care helps to have some balance, get us to a place of appropriate moderation.
And also, I think, talking about authenticity in parenting or in grandparenting, it's being able to express your thoughts and feelings to them in appropriate ways, in healthy ways, because that's how they get to know who you are. And they also need to learn, well, that's different than me, and let them know that's okay, because everybody is different. And and know that they're valued for their differences. That makes them unique and precious. So, but you have to express your thoughts and your feelings. And again, in moderation, in healthy ways. And then they will learn, oh, Gigi can be angry, but not go fly off the handle, or she can be sad and cry, and knowing that that won't last forever. So when your children see you regulate yourself and your emotions in healthy ways, they learn how to model that. And that attunement and attachment, you have to be expressive. You have to have warmth and love and connection in order for them to attach to you. So they know how to attach and have healthy relationships when they grow up.
Mm-hmm. And if that's hard for you, then, thinking back to how you were raised, that may be holding you back, or it may be a struggle. So give yourself a gift and work on that. And that way you're able to now connect with the people around you, with your family. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So we've talked about this a lot, but it's so important to keep talking about it. Basic self-care. What are y'all's favorite self-care techniques that y'all do personally?
I love to be in nature. One of the things that I really enjoy, and when I moved away from Oklahoma for a little while, some of my friends that I grew up with thought I was nuts when I said this, but I missed the wind. So I will just stand outside and feel the wind as it moves, the hairs all over my body, my clothes, and just get grounded in the present moment. Absolutely love playing disc golf. I'm a huge fan of music, listening to, playing, movies, getting into, we've talked recently about some movies we've watched, and comedy. It's so nice to have those deep belly laughs of just rich joy. And some of that self-care looks different seasons.
Yeah.
I love to cook, but that doesn't always mean that I like to cater. Love to cook.
Yeah.
So those are a few of the things I really enjoy.
Yeah. Teresa, what about you?
Steve, when I heard you talk about wind, made me think of a conversation last week with my 3-year-old. We were sitting outside and it was nice, but it's March with winds in Oklahoma. And we were talking about, Genevieve and I were talking about the wind, and I said, we can't see the wind, can we, Genevieve? And she said, no, but you can see those trees moving. I thought, wow, yes, you're right. You can see the effects of the wind, but for her to make that connection, thought that was awesome. So spending time with my grandkids is self-care for me. Also, I enjoy a really hot soaking bath in the evening time. I enjoy that. Exercising. Steve, along with you, I like to cook as well. So and reading and just spending time with my higher power. Those are a lot of things that recharge me. So how about you, Stephanie?
Things that help me on a daily basis: exercise, just for 30 minutes to kind of get myself unwound. And sometimes that can be very high intense. I love to turn up the music really loud, and that kind of thing. But then and this is something new that I think it found throughout this year too, is I'm really enjoying yoga. Doing quiet breathing and exercises and things like that have really been something that I've enjoyed. And hearing you both talk about, I love to cook, but that doesn't always mean, sometimes cooking can turn into a chore. If I'm the only one that fixed dinner, and so part of my self-care has been saying, okay, who's cooking dinner Wednesday night and who's doing Thursday night? Because it's not me, and trading off. And finding joy in cooking with my kids. I love that part, so, but then, I love to read. So I love the quiet moments. And then sometimes I love those really fun, watching sports, being loud and, being outside. So absolutely. So any last thoughts, guys?
There's so many.
I know.
Section
This
could probably
is
just
just,
keep going.
yeah, this conversation doesn't stop.
No.
And I think we're going to really lead into more authenticity and break it down even further. I like talking about those roles and those hats that we play, because it's so important to look at, they're a part of us, and sometimes we need to put those aside. And sometimes we've got to make sure that we're fully engaged in those parts as us.
Yes.
With that. So we've talked a lot about our parenting class too. I want to kind of give a little bit of a plug for that. These classes, our next one is going to be offered on March the 31st at 6 p.m. We will be running these every month. And so check out our website or give us a call if you're interested in signing up. Again, these are free. They're online, so you can participate anywhere, anytime. So guys, thanks for joining me, and we will see everybody next week.